So I grew up in a small town called Walla Walla, Washington. If people have heard of it before, it's usually from the Bugs Bunny cartoon. That's where Acme's from, Walla Walla in Kalamazoo. From Walla Walla, I went on to Washington State University, where I got my BS in biochemistry. But halfway through my junior year there at Washington State University, I had just a life-altering moment. So I was sitting there lacing up my shoes, getting ready for my morning run, turned on the TV to look at the weather, and I watched the second plane hit the tower. It was September 11th, 2001. I sat there for like 4 more hours. I could not peel myself away from the TV, and I went through the whole gamut of emotions like I'm sure everybody else did: fear, anger, sadness, but the last one was a call to action. And so I got up, I opened the phone book, found the nearest recruiter, and I signed up that day with Air Force ROTC. But to put it in perspective for you, had you asked me on September 10th, 2001, if I'd ever even thought of joining the military, I would have told you I know nothing about the military. I thought everybody was in the Army. I did not know there was a difference between officer and enlisted, and it was just a little bit scary, to be completely honest with you. But September 11th changed me, like I'm sure it changed a lot of Americans. So I walk into the recruiter's office, the Air Force ROTC, walk up to the commander, and he says, "Let me guess, you want to be a pilot?" Because that's apparently what people do when they join Air Force ROTC. They want to be pilots. And I said, "No, sir, I'm scared of flying. What do you have for a nerd?" So he signed me up to go on the pre-med track. I was already pre-med track. He said I can be a doctor in the military, and that would be very helpful. But I, of course, started making friends. And a couple months into it, they said, "Jen, this is really embarrassing that you're part of the Air Force and you are afraid of flying. So we're going to teach you everything you need to know about flying, and you'll realize there's nothing to be afraid of." So they took me up at their Cessnas, and of course I loved it. There is nothing to be afraid of. It's actually a lot more fun than going to school for 6 or 8 more years. So I threw my name in the hat to become a fighter pilot. I competed really well, and next thing I knew, 18 months later, here I was, a mission-ready F-16 pilot. And I tell this story because I look back on it now, and I'm like, how the heck did a small-town girl from Walla Walla who knew nothing about the military, was afraid of flying, become a fighter pilot? And how did I do that in 18 months? Well, it's no credit to me, I'll tell you that much. It's because the military has perfected a method that rapidly accelerates both experience and skill. And what's neat about Afterburner is we've now capitalized on that. We've captured that process, translated it into the business world, and now we found businesses are just as successful with that same process: flawless execution.